Hi everybody, hope you're all well. Hello Alondra, I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing? So I've been seeing stuff about this Akash Singh situation. So I'm going to talk a bit about that and what I think about that because this shit's crazy. Um, so basically, I don't even know the guy. I don't think before all this come out, but he's a pretty big YouTube guy who's I think he's a comedian or something, and yeah. So basically, like his wife started, doing these TikToks or something, and just really saying some quite, sort of disrespectful things, and yeah, it was, talking about, what she's done in the past and all this shit. And it's like, publicizing all that kind of stuff. It's a bit, it's the stuff that's like, she's with this guy, and then it's like going on about, oh, I had such a good time when I was, with these, well, what was it, frat boys or whatever shit or whatever it was, and just getting her, whatever, you know what I mean? That shit that goes on, then. But basically, yeah, she's basically like admitted that she's only really with him because of the money and the fame. So this is the problem when, if that's the only thing that they're really like attracted to you for, then it's doomed to fail, isn't it? Really, because it's like they probably don't respect you, and 'cause, if you don't have the self-respect and the boundaries and whatever, and just no, sorry, if you don't have that, if you don't set healthy boundaries, you don't say no at any point, you just let them walk all over you, then you're just gonna be treated with disrespect. And apparently he's got some like attachment issues, because I was talking with someone on a video comments something, and I was saying about this, and they're saying that he's been going through therapy for a long time and he's got attachment issues or something. And that's the problem is, you get these kind of people who will prey on, kind of vulnerable people, you could say, who, may become, like they're like a sort of, someone that can easily be manipulated and taken advantage of. So you would think, well, this guy who's, he's doing well for himself, he's in the top 1% or even top 0.1% of society, you could argue, in terms of his status. But because of his behavior, because he shows too much attachment and puts up with too much BS, I guess, then she finds that repulsive. I'm not saying that what she's doing is good and that she has a right to be like that with him, but the thing is that, yeah, I think probably if you've got some like baggage or whatever, you're trying to deal with that, then you perhaps shouldn't really be with anybody, because you're just going to end up like getting destroyed. It's not good for him to be having this. It's just really humiliating, especially when it's happening publicly like that, that everyone sees what's happening, the fact that she's just disrespecting him in front of everybody. He said the guy I was seeing wasn't, sorry, he said the guy I was seeing that he wasn't ready for anything serious, which I out then that he said he wanted to keep his options open. Yeah, some people do that. I mean, if they said that from the start, then okay. But like, if you're leading people on, that's not good. Like, if you're gonna say like you want to be serious, then you should stick to your word and just, or don't say it at all. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, this guy called Akash Singh, whatever, and he's you think someone like that who's really successful and all that, and that he wouldn't be worried about having a woman disrespect him or whatever, and that she would. A lot of people would think that, oh well, if you've got that level of success, that you can have anyone you want and they will do anything for you, but not necessarily. The thing is that there's more to it than just being successful and whatever. It's like, if you still act like a quote unquote beta male, you're gonna get disrespected probably, because unless you can find someone who really just loves you for who you are, but that can be hard because a lot of the people that are going to be attracted to you are going to be the ones that will take advantage of you for that. So I have to be very careful of the kind of people that you're going for. And this is the problem if someone does get to that level, and it might be better to find someone while you're on the way up, and you're because the thing is that some people just want to be there at the finishing line or whatever and just take advantage of you or something. They'll take advantage of all the success that you've got. They'll try and leverage it for their own success. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to team up, collaborate, whatever, but when you're only with somebody to leverage off their success, then it's not genuine, is it? Yeah. Doesn't matter age, time, or money. Old people can be shitty. Yeah, I know. I got destroyed, but it was because I was hopeful for something real. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but you have to try not get your hopes up too much until something serious is happening, is what I'd say. Anyway, hit the like button, everybody. So it's just really crazy, this whole thing that's been happening with this Akash Singh, whatever. Just, yeah, been publicly humiliated, and some even might go as far to say as, he's destroyed his career. I don't know. Maybe it'd be good if he actually ends up dumping her after this, because that's what should happen, really. Like, if he has any kind of backbone, then he'll do that. But thing is, sometimes some people they'll see vulnerabilities and they will continue to chip away at your self-esteem and your self-worth, to a point where you become completely dependent on them. So they tend to profile people who are if they, give off that they're not the most kind of confident or the most secure kind of people, or the most, what I mean, if they see someone like that they can see you as kind of vulnerable. So it's important that we just basically just keep our guard up. What are they with me for? Because if they're only with you because of your fame or your money or whatever, then that's not genuine. How would you know that? If you already have that. So it's a bit of a tricky situation, really. But you have to be someone who's not willing to just kind of, just give everything away to them. Your money is your money, their money is their money. Not this whole bullshit where it's where they'll say, my money is my money, and your money is our money. It's fuck off, fucking gold digger. That's the thing. It's if someone's a fucking gold digger and whatever, then fuck off, if you want to be all strong and independent and all that, then you don't need my money then, do you? But some people want their cake and eat it, don't they? Like they want all their bills paid for while earning their own money. Like you can't have it both ways. So unless you're gonna be like, you know, like a traditional wife or something, there's no way I'm gonna pay for all your fucking bills. You know? It's like if you want to be a fucking modern woman or whatever and earn your own living, why should I have to supplement that? But then some people say, oh, that's misogynistic. Fuck off. You know, it's not. It's they want their equality, then that's equality. If you want to earn your own income, you can go and do that. But I don't need to supplement that. Yeah. I got my own shit to deal with. You know? That's the thing, is that so many fucking entitled fucking, you know what I mean? It's like they think they can just do that because of feminism or whatever bullshit. I mean, I suppose it's happened throughout history. Gold diggers, doesn't it? It's always happened. But maybe you could argue feminism has kind of empowered them even more to do it. And they might even see it as some kind of twisted revenge against men or something, even though it's not the fault of most men. So is that what they're trying to do? It's like some kind of twisted fucking revenge that they're trying to do to try and kind of make men suffer or something. I don't know why they think they're so entitled to. The thing is that what they don't realize is that fulfillment comes from struggle. Sometimes in life we have to struggle a little bit. You know, if you've like just got to where you want to be without, you know, if you want to do that whole hustle, whatever bullshit, then you should go through that on your own, like not have to have some fucking guy to, you know, sort of, you know, supplement that. Because then you just fast forward in that, and then you just end up becoming this fucking entitled friggin', you know what I mean? Like you just become like a really bad attitude, and because then if they like then that fails, and then anytime you look for a new partner or whatever, then you're gonna look for, you know, unless they can provide, then you're just gonna see them as just kind of like broke or whatever kind of BS they want to throw out there. Oh, they're tight or whatever. Well, it's like when they expect these men to try, you know, to pay for first dates and shit like that, and you know, it's just why? Especially nowadays, it's like, who the fuck can even afford that anyway? Oh, but these are low value men if they can't afford it or some shit. Well, not every man can, and it's like there's going to be some men that don't earn that much, and it's not always their fault. And you just expect that they're going to fucking pay for your fucking expensive fucking meals. And then they expect you to buy them an expensive, you know, like ring or something when you get married or some shit. Fuck off. You know? It's like, who the fuck do these people think they are, you know? They've been completely just destroyed with all this feminism and all this entitlement and whatever that they've been conditioned by society and whatever. And then they complain that men don't want to like approach them anymore. But they don't even like give men any kind of like, you know, sign to go and approach them. Like, they don't seem approachable anymore anyway, so why even fucking bother? Like, I think at one time they would have given some indication that, you know, because I just don't see why a man should just have to like approach hundreds of women and just get rejected and just get humiliated, because they have too much leverage now and they can just reject you. Whereas at one time, if they were probably more likely to be successful with that. Like, as long as they had a job and they had, something going for them, then they didn't need to be the best looking or anything. They could just get a decent woman. But nowadays, it's like the whole pool's just completely fucked. Just full of fucking sluts, fucking degenerates. And men are not any better, really, either, a lot of them. But a lot of these, like, modern men have just become, like, weak. But a lot of it is it's because a lot of these women have made men weak. They've turned men into, like, insecure and desperate and whatever, because I don't know, it's not all because of that, but I do think that's been a part of it. You could say a lot of it's because of dating apps and other things that have just made it hard. But there's a lot of these modern women are very like stuck up and think that they're 10s when they're at 5 at best. But it's just crazy, isn't it? This woman who thinks she can like get this, this, you can just disrespect this man. And you might think, well, you're looking at him and he's not the most attractive guy. So I don't think she probably sees anything in him that way. She probably just sees him as vulnerable and whatever. But to be honest, I don't even think she even looks that good either. She doesn't even look that fucking attractive to me. I don't know. I guess he probably just thinks that's the best that he can get. And that's sad that the best that he got was some fucking, not very good looking person with an uglier fucking heart. That is sad. But you could say some of it's on him. But, he's obviously got his own issues and stuff. It's just horrible that someone would prey on that and just not give a fuck. Like, they just have this kind of don't give a fuck attitude to life and just, oh, well, I'll just go and, fuck with a bunch of guys' emotions and just, they just don't give a fuck. And the shit really pisses me off because it's like, because nothing's being fucking done about it, Like, all the fucking people are just broken. Obviously, women are being affected as well by, these kind of men who, kind of act like they're really interested and then they just kind of go cold. So that happens as well, where, they just mess around. And a lot of that, I think, is because of red pill or whatever. Red pills taught men to just become assholes, and then it just ends up damaging more women, and you just keep on perpetuating the fucking problem. Where it's like, oh, you gotta be cold with women and all this shit. Fuck off. It's just like, all you're doing is you're just gonna make them even more bitter and hate men even more. Like, how is that gonna help the situation? Like, they're telling men to just become robots and have no emotions. Oh, if you show a woman any emotions, then you're a beta male and you're just a simp or whatever, or you're just this and that. So both fucking genders are being completely destroyed by all this propaganda out there, and a lot of it's on the internet that's... It's just ruining dating and relationships. It's just completely just an absolute mess. Because people just believe so much of the fucking propaganda out there that's just... It's an absolute joke. Like I said, you got a lot of these modern women thinking they're 10s, and they're probably like a 4 at best. Then you've got with men thinking they're high value and they're just because they've got money or some shit like that, and it's like, fuck off. Well, I can't be doing with these fucking conceited, fucking arrogant people who, they think they're a 10, but they're actually fucking not. Now, yeah, I know I've so kind of like, sometimes I make out like I'm, something myself, but like I'll never probably say I'm a 10 or anything because I think that is delusional. I don't think anybody's a 10. Because a 10 would imply that you're perfect and there's no room for improvement. Nobody's perfect. So we need to just stop with this kind of, arrogance and like, but the thing is, unless people are going to be held accountable and actually, then it's just going to keep perpetuating. You've got these, and the thing is, you'll get people's like, friendship groups and whatever, and they'll just kind of, affirm to each other that, oh yeah, you're a 10, you're a queen and all this shit. And then you'll get these like alpha male circles that'll be like, oh yeah, no, you're worth, you're worth more than any of these women or whatever. It's like, well, are you though? Like, you have to be really honest with yourself. Are you actually worth more than you think? Or, are you worth what you think you are? Because it takes being humble to really kind of accept that your imperfections and stuff, and like a lot of these people have like fragile egos, and that the slightest criticism they would get triggered at because they're afraid of like losing that identity that they've built up in their own mind. Because that's what the ego is. It's you've built this identity of yourself up in your own mind that if somebody questions that, then it's like with people's political affiliations as well, things like that, where this is why people get triggered, because they actually identify with their political affiliations. It's weird. It's like that becomes their identity, and that if you attack that, then it's like their identity gets attacked because that they see it as part of their self, and that if you're attacking that, then you are therefore taking that away from them. That's going to make them feel less or something. I don't know. It's just, it's really fucked as this human condition. It's but yeah, we need to be holding each other accountable. When people act shitty, we need to be held accountable for that, either your family or friends or whatever. But your problem is you get these friendship circles that'll just kind of be like, oh yeah, oh well, you get what you deserve, all this kind of thing, and who gives a fuck if you hurt other people's feelings or whatever. These are the sort of people that you don't want to have as your friends. You want people who are going to actually keep you accountable, because they're not good friends. One of these days, you're going to get like you're going to get a wake-up call, shall I say. Hang on a sec. Okay. What's happened to the chat? Yeah, it's messed up. So yeah, sorry I missed the chat there, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought it had just gone dead or something, but anyway. Exactly, it's so messed up. Yeah, everything's just like messed now. It's just people thinking they can just, it's okay to hurt someone else's feelings, and as long as they get what they want, it's okay. Like we should be teaching each other that it's wrong to. I think a lot of it comes down to upbringing. If you've got, your parents should teach you that, you know, that if you keep messing up, you keep, you know, hurting people, then you don't know what the consequences of that might be, right? Because you might do it to the wrong person and you're going to regret it, is what I'm saying. So you have to be careful of, you know, hurting people. Just not just that it's the right thing to do, but, you know, it's like they don't have any empathy at all, do they? They don't think about, what if somebody did it to them? How would they feel? How would they feel in the other person's shoes? You know? They don't give a fuck. Society is fucked, right? You know, it's like nobody, it's like, it goes way beyond the whole relationships and things like that. But I just see it in general that people have, you know, little to no regard for other people's well-being, do they? They might act like they do, but they don't. Like, I just can't even be asked to be in society, really. It's just kind of pisses me off. It's like no one hardly wants to see each other succeed, at least not beyond what they're doing. Like, if they go beyond what they're doing, then suddenly that's a problem, right? So you get, let's say, people in a friendship group and they see that someone's doing well for themselves. Maybe they, you know, get a better job, or maybe they start their own business, or maybe they find somebody at last. And then all those in that group that are just a bunch of losers or whatever, and they're you know, they're not happy for them because they don't have that themselves. Instead of just being, oh, I'm happy for you, it's like they, you know, it exposes what they lack, and they can't deal with that. Their egos are just kind of destroyed. So instead of them taking responsibility and actually being like, you know what, this reminds me, I need to try and work on myself and actually, you know what I mean? Like you should be trying to like, you know, you should, you know, you should be taking that as inspiration, is what I'm saying. But these are the sort of people that, because they don't want to do what it takes, they don't want to, you know, grind it out, whatever, and they see you doing that, they can't be doing with that. Why don't you just grind it out, you know, just, otherwise shut your fucking mouth and let other people just do that then. Because I think as they say, envy is one of the deadly sins or something, and we should be mindful of that. That you know, that what we do, you know, yeah, that, like I said, there could be consequences of our actions, right? That if we disrespect somebody, if we, you know, you don't know, you might just get destroyed. Is that something you're willing to risk? So yeah, it's like I would go out and do busking and stuff, and I was actually thinking about doing it today, to be honest with you, but sometimes I just feel like, you know what, it's just the environment. It's just, I just don't really like it. I don't know. It's just because people are just generally not that supportive, and then sometimes you might even get people harassing you and shit. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll try somewhere else and do it where it's a bit more friendly. But I find that in the cities, it can be a bit much, really, and people are just generally not that supportive. I find it's like you'll get like hundreds and thousands of people walking past, and none of them seem to give a fuck. You know, they're just completely like oblivious and they don't actually pay any attention whatsoever. It's like you're putting yourself out there, and they just they're just walking past as though you don't exist. It's like when people scroll the live streams and not actually even stop by for a minute to just, chat for a little bit. It feels a bit like you're just being completely like ghosted in real life. It's shit, It's like they're just treating it. I don't understand everyone's kind of in their own bubble and whatever, but oftentimes, you could go on for a few minutes and not even a single person has even really seemed to have looked. It can be quite disheartening, but you just got to try and do it. So I'm thinking about going out with the actually live streaming, and I'll be doing this on TikTok because I can get away with it on there. Because on YouTube, there's this thing with copyright and stuff, and I can run a risk of getting me live stream taken down or whatever for copyright and shit like that. So I can't really be bothered, to do it on YouTube really. But that's the only problem with that really, that I can't do it on there. So I have to do it on there, I guess, on TikTok, because they don't mind that. It's to do with the copyright laws and all that. But so I'm just gonna have to do it on TikTok, I guess. At least then I'll have maybe a few people to support me, I guess. Because I was thinking that's one of the reasons why I wanted to live stream it, because then at least I'd have maybe a few people who might want to, kind of just come to show support and whatever. Whereas if I'm doing it on my own, it can feel a little bit lonely actually at times. Even though you're around all these people, but yet you feel kind of lonely. It's a weird feeling. It's because they say you can feel lonely in a crowded room. And I think I've had times where I've felt a bit like, kind of, what am I even doing here kind of thing, where you just kind of feel a bit out of place. And so in that case, it's better to just kind of duck out and just either be by yourself or find the people who actually value you and actually appreciate you. And so I mean, I'm not really feeling lonely now. It's just so I got people I can talk to and stuff. It's just there are certain instances where you can be like, I just don't really feel like I belong here, But like I said, I do want to do the busking stuff, and I'd like to show people what I do with that. And maybe it can inspire people, I don't know. Maybe it can inspire others to get out there and do their thing, even if it's something else, maybe, I don't know. At some point, I'd like to do magic as well. I do want to, do street magic as well. That would be pretty cool. But I want to try out the singing, try and live stream that, because maybe I can make a bit more money in total if I did it that way. So I'd get people sending donations, and then I'd have people sending donations on TikTok or whatever. And maybe I might even look at other platforms to do it on as well, potentially. Like some of these sort of, maybe I could even try it on Kick or something like that. I don't know, but it's just hard to get an audience on there, I think. But apparently on Kick, they give you 95% of the revenue. But the only thing is that the catch for that is that they have this sponsor of some frigging crypto gambling site. So you think to yourself, do you really want to be promoting that? I don't know. But I do find that some of these platforms, the percentages that they take is just really, really bad. Do they really need to take such a big percentage of people's donations? I think 5% is a reasonable amount, maybe even 10%. But when they're taking 30, 40, 50, 60, even 70% of your donations, I think that is I just don't think that is good. I don't think it's acceptable to take so much, because it's they're providing the platform, but it's but the creators are the ones that are creating the content to go on the platform. So you should be getting most of the money that you generate for that, because they're making enough money as it is. Even if they had 10% of that, probably would make it a lot of money. Like, yeah, they have to pay for the, the staff, the infrastructure, and all that stuff, but I don't see how taking a huge cut is necessary. I don't get it. Like, it's just greed to me, really. Some of them take over half of the money. It's like, how is that even possible? How is that fair? Like, how is it fair to take 60% of someone's earnings? I think that's what they do on like TikTok or whatever. In fact, it might even be more than that now. So yeah, so that's all I want to do, and like try and get out there and do my thing. Maybe I'll try and encourage people to donate like a more direct way, like PayPal or something. So when I'm live streaming or something, but then again, if I encourage that on say TikTok, then they could ban me for that potentially, because I don't know if that's really allowed on there. Because if I'm not getting TikTok as much money, then they probably won't like that. I don't think YouTube's as bad for things like that, but I was just thinking about like how I could get more donations and stuff and keep more of the money or something, basically. So like, yeah, because I don't like that some of these platforms can take over half of the money, because they take half the money, and then obviously PayPal does take a small cut of that, not that much though, but it's just yeah, it's just when you're having to go through like third parties, isn't it, really? So you're going through these kind of extra steps, like where you're getting paid from some other thing to then go into your PayPal or whatever. I suppose it can go to your bank as well. I think that you can do it direct to your bank. Depends on like, but still, it's like, it's like with PayPal's like fees, if you're just doing it direct to there, then it's not much. So I don't know. It's just bullshit, really, isn't it? But yeah, I'm just thinking like what sites I could stream on and then actually earn anything, because it's hard on some of them to actually grow at all. So I could try and multi-stream it somehow. So I could do like restream, but then you can only do like 2 platforms at once unless you pay for it. Or you can, maybe there's other ways where you can like have more platforms. Because I remember at one time you used to be able to do restream with like, I think it was like unlimited number of platforms for free on the well, unless they were RTMP. So that's the thing. It's like because RTMP is the custom, we'll call it custom RTMP, which is the one where you have to like manually put it in yourself, which sounds a bit wrong. Thank you for the likes, everybody. But yeah, so like, saying about like, yeah, so look at, maybe like streaming to different platforms and maybe get some, donations that way, potentially. Maybe I would promote my PayPal or something, so then people can do it there, so that I can get direct contributions. Or maybe look at other ways, potentially. I'll have to look at Cash App as well, because some people in the world, they can't even use PayPal, I think. So it might be good to have other options. There's the whole buy me a coffee thing as well that some people use. Yeah, where they can just send like a one-off donation or something. So there is some like subscription type of things, like say Patreon, or there's a few like that as well. I think Rockfin is one as well. That was it. The other one, Locals. I remember like that was a subscription thing, but they take a cut though. They all take a cut, but the thing with like YouTube memberships, they take like 30%. Whereas I think on, Patreon, let's say, it's a lot less than that. But yeah, it's just there's always people taking a cut, all these middlemen taking a cut from everything. So it's almost like another form of tax, isn't it, really? Like you've got these payment processors now, isn't it? Like these ATM machines or whatever. It's almost like another form of tax, isn't it? You know? It's kind of how I see it, really. It's just another way of getting money out of people. Yeah, it might only be a very small percentage. Like sometimes it's less than like 2%, maybe like 1.5 to 2%. But even like say 1%, on big transactions, like let's say if it was £1,000 that you're paying with your card, that's like 10 quid. It's probably more than that actually. I think a lot of them are more than 1%, but even then, it's like, imagine how many people are like purchasing with these things. It's just, to me, it's just another way of just ripping people off and just, well, it's actually the companies that are probably getting ripped off with that. Like, why is it that they all do these ATM machines now instead of just, I guess, not many people carry cash anymore, so they kind of have to do it. But it's just like, if more people would carry cash, then they could keep more of it, couldn't they? The thing with these ATM machines or what have you, then it's a way of like, the thing why this is normalized, I believe, is because then they can actually like track transactions more now. Like they can see where you've purchased something, and then when they can see, how many items you've sold to somebody and things like that. So people then are more like liable for taxes and stuff like that. Whereas at one time, if it was all cash, then they might not necessarily declare everything, because how would they know? Like they'll declare some of it, but then they might kind of just keep a little bit of it kind of, from like, you know what I mean? Because they want to try and avoid, some people want to avoid paying taxes and stuff. I suppose like if you have a business or something, you can like avoid a lot of taxes through like tax write-offs and things like that. But unless you can, find ways to avoid all of it, then you'd still have to pay some. But yeah, I don't know. It's what it is, really, isn't it? But yeah, they're trying to like, they're trying to track everything, aren't they? Trying to track all of people's transactions and stuff, and to see like what you're spending your money on and things. They can see all that, which I think is like kind of an invasion of privacy, really, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, they're trying to do away with like cash in hand jobs and stuff, aren't they? But can they fully do that though? I can't see them just like getting rid of like money altogether, because like, well, there might still be like people that would do it anyway. But yeah, it's like some reckon they're trying to get us into like a digital economy or something to like kind of stop you from being able to do things like cash in hand jobs and what have you, and so they can see how much money you've got and all this sort of stuff. So they can automatically like deduct tax from you and things like that. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Hello, Daisy May. How you doing? Hope you're well today. But sometimes I might seem a bit negative, but I'm just trying to shed light on things. It might seem negative, but I'm trying to do it to try and get people talking, get people to kind of like start asking important questions, you know? Because maybe together we can actually make something happen. If I could get a level of influence or something, then it could get to a point where we can create some kind of movement, you know? That's what I want to do. That's what I feel like my purpose in life would ultimately be, is to like make some change happen, to see the world differently than what it is now. I might sound like a long shot, but there's people who've done some really like extreme things in life, and you know, if they can do it, then why couldn't I do it, sort of thing. And we have to have faith in ourselves that we can actually accomplish things. So otherwise it's like, well, then you're not, are you? It's like you just you know, I've got so much I'd like to achieve, but yeah, it'd be good to get people behind me that actually can support it and get behind it. It's just, yeah. Just giving this thing a little wipe. Got some like kind of stains and stuff on it, so just give it a little bit of a clean up. Yeah. Not very kind of like that much into cleaning, to be honest. I mean, I don't probably do it as much as I should, but I've seen worse out there, to be fair. Anyway, I might restart the live, guys, because there don't seem to be much going on here.